Unsolved.
The JonBenet Ramsey case. Lies. This episode is done with my best voice, with enhanced audio narration. And it starts off with things that seem untrue. Maybe they're true. They could be a lie. We're not 100% sure. And then it moves towards 100% lies. And I read from the police transcripts, and many times I skip some of the lines to move things along. So here we go. Now the first issue we have is time. Patsy got up at 5:30 a.m. and then she said that she found the ransom note at 5:45 a.m. That's 15 minutes. So listen to her testimony about that morning before she found the ransom note. My clothes were probably thrown on the bathtub. Let me stop you there. The clothes that you say were thrown down, those were clothes you had worn the night before? Right. Okay, seems odd to me. Early I do this a lot. Now did you intend to wear those the rest of the day through? Or probably what I thought I would do, you know. My thinking was I have my underwear and all that is in these drawers here. So I put my underwear on, but I put the black velvet pants on, and the red sweater, red top, and then we have clothes up at the lake. And I took a few things with me. You know, it was just so early. I was just going to throw on whatever I had up there. Just get in. So this would not have been your normal routine, though, to put the same clothes on. Yeah, I do whatever I want. I told you that. I mean, if I had a pair, of black shorts on, you can wear them 2-3 days before I send them to the dry cleaners. I might have changed the top or something, but okay. I don't like to do laundry, and you're getting ready for this trip anyway? Right. What brands of makeup do you wear? Then Patsy describes 2 makeups. What did you say this was? The foundation. Foundation, okay. Are there other things that you put on? Blush, lipstick. I probably didn't really do a terrific job. I meant just getting a little bit on and go, Okay, how long do you think all that in the bathroom took? 20-30 minutes. And what? Is that a different brand of brush than you put on? Is that the same? I don't know. I have a drawer full of stuff. I don't necessarily use the same, Chanel, just whatever. Editor's note. So besides the issue of wearing the same clothes the following day, is the time. If she did take 20 minutes or more, that would be beyond the time that she made the 911 call by the time she would have got downstairs to the first floor. And she said she did other things. So there's a good chance she's lying to the police and just talking about her normal routine of putting on makeup. When you listen to Patsy's testimony about finding the ransom note and reading it, isn't it just too perfect that it's laid out on the steps, facing the certain direction, and just perfectly so she could read it? Why couldn't it have been facing the other direction? From my bathroom, I started down the spiral staircase, and when I got nearly to the bottom, I saw these 3 pieces of paper, like notebook-sized paper, on the run of the stairs. I went on down, turned around, and started reading it. And I remember reading the first couple of lines, and I kind of didn't know what it was. And then after the first couple of lines, it dawned on me. It said something about, "We have your daughter," or something. And I ran back upstairs, pushed open the door to her room, and she wasn't in her bed. Okay. And screamed for John. He was up in our bedroom still, and he came running down, and I told him that there was a note that said she had been kidnapped. I think he said, "What should I do? What should I do?" or something, and he said, "Call the police." When you bent down to read it, did you pick it up or did you leave it on the stair? I just can't remember exactly. Well, it would be a little uncomfortable, I would think, too. I just kind of, and then I realized and went, "So you left it in that?" "Yeah, I think I left it. Approximate location like it's laid out now." "Yeah." I got down to the floor and turned around and looked at it. "And you said that you just read the first paragraph?" "Uh-huh." "And that's when you stopped?" "Uh-huh." "Had you since, or did you that day, read the rest of the note?" "Well, I read it. I came back down, and John had it, on the floor and whatnot, and I was glancing at it." "Well, it was kind of all during. After John came down and he had the note, and I was, God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And he said, call the police, call 911. And I was looking around reading, but it said, don't do that, What if they heard? It said, we got to call them. All this was like in minutes. Well, there's several issues here. On top of the note just happens to be laid out in the right direction and clear so that Patsy could read it without picking it up. But Patsy also states that when she came downstairs the second time, that she glanced at it while John was reading it. But she said she immediately called 911. Then there's an issue about when John told her to call 911. At first she says they were on the second floor and he told her to call 911. But here, when he was reading the ransom note on the floor. 4. During Patsy's police interview, she seems to lie about Burke's age, that it was a real golf club, and that it wasn't an accident. On October 5th, 1994, when JonBenet showed up at the doctor's office for a checkup, she had a scar on her left cheek. She'd been hit accidentally by a golf club when the family was in Charlevoix. On that date in 1994, JonBenet was age 4 and Burke was age 7. Okay, there was mention while you were talking about that, there was mention of a situation where he apparently hit JonBenet with a golf club up at Charlevoix. Yes. Could you tell us about that? He was taking a practice swing. He was just a little guy. He was 2 or 3 or 2.5, and it was our first summer there. How young they were there. About what year would that have been? That was 93, I believe, and he was out there with his little wiffle ball, golf balls, and she walked up behind, and he kind of clipped her right on the cheek, and she screamed bloody murder, and I jumped down off the porch, grabbed her, and, slammed ice on it. I thought he got her in the eye, and went down there to the emergency room, and, the doctor looked, and it was just, the socket around her eye. Protects your eye there. So she had a good old black eye for a while. She had a little, I don't remember which eye it was, little abrasion. I took her to the plastic surgeon just to see if there was anything to do to help there. He said it would go away. So that was just an accident. Yeah, he wasn't used to looking around, and she walked right up behind him. So Burke was up at the lake, and Burke was in the yard swinging a golf club, and she walked up either in front of him or behind him. I was not there, and she got clobbered. It was a pure accident. Where'd you hear that? Oh, Patsy called me. You were out of town? Yes, I was. She was at the lake. I might have been in Boulder. I don't remember. I was not there. I think Burke had a bad temper. It's like he had a chip on his shoulder. He had hit JonBenet. Before the murder, I would have to say it was probably a year and a half. They were playing in the yard, and apparently he hit her with a golf club. Right here. She says the kids were playing. Burke lost his temper, and he hit her with a golf club. Judith Phillips. Patsy had lied to the police about 3 different issues. First, she made it sound like Burke was much younger. Second, she lied that the golf clubs were plastic when they were real golf clubs, kids' golf clubs. And third, she lied about it being an accident when it was intentional. And you notice that John Ramsey backed her up on this. So they might have planned what they were going to say to the police during their separate interviews. Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved. And until next week, in another episode, the next one's going to be a good one. So I'll see you next weekend.